Hey there, welcome back to my channel, which is Speaking Friendly. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to speak well in parts 1 and 3 of the speaking test of IELTS. Well, what I'm going to do in this video is to give some sample answers to some questions from part 1 and 3 of the speaking test. Please, however, keep one thing in mind that these answers are just sample answers to some of the questions. Do not take them as the only valid, best and accurate answers to the questions. Your answers can be way better than mine. Just take them as sample answers. And please do not memorize these answers to the questions to regurgitate them in the real speaking test of IELTS. That's because the examiners of the speaking test of IELTS are trained people to spot mistakes and spot memorized responses. If they think that you are giving memorized responses, they are likely to penalize your responses, and as a result you get a low band score in this speaking test. However, you can take these answers as the sample answers and get ideas as to how to speak well in the speaking test. As you watch this video, think about the vocabulary, the sentence structures, and the range of discourse markers and connectives that I use. However, please do not memorize them to regurgitate them in the real speaking test of IELTS. So if you want me to post similar videos about how to perform well across all three parts of the speaking test of IELTS, please ask me to do so in the comment sections below. And please don't forget to like, comment on my videos, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Speaking Friendly. Good luck.
Let's talk about what you do. Do you work or are you a student? Well, I've been studying for my bachelor's degree in business studies. That's because uh, ever since I was a child, I've always had some sort of fascination with business. That's because in the future, I want to become a successful business person. Besides that, I also work as a part-timer at a nearby store. That's because I want to fund my study. I don't want to completely rely for my studies on my parents. What do you study? Well, I chose to study at a college which is 5 minutes walk from my home, which is best known college for its business studies courses. What time do you prefer to study? Well, I choose to study early in the morning. That's because my mind is fresh and I can concentrate more in the morning compared to studying in the evening or afternoon, where when we do have a lot of distractions involved, a lot of noise. Do you prefer to study alone or with others? Well, I choose to study on my own. That's because I can concentrate better when I study on my own. However, depending on the nature of the subject that I'm studying, such as the subjects that require me to come up with ideas. In this case, I love to study with the other people because the more the merrier. The more people are involved in a discussion, the more ideas we invent. So, depending on the nature of the subject that I'm studying, sometimes I prefer to study alone, and sometimes I prefer to study with other people in groups. Now, let's go on to talk about summer. Is summer your favorite time of year? Yes, definitely. It's my favorite. That's because compared to winter days when the days are bitterly cold and we've got to stay indoors, near the fireplace. Uh, I love to go out with friends and family members in summer. What do you do in summer when the weather is very hot? Well, when the weather is too hot, for example, if when it goes above 30-degree, I love to go for swimming because in my hometown, where I'm living currently, there is a swimming pool where we can enjoy swimming 24 hours. It makes us feel cool when we swim during the hot days. And the next thing we can do is to enjoy a wide variety of cold beverages such as a cola. Do you go on holiday every summer? I wish I could, but unfortunately, due to my busy schedule, uh, I can't go on holiday during the summer as often as I did when I was a child. Did you enjoy the summer holidays when you were at school? Immensely. When I was, as far as I can remember, when I was a school student, um, our teachers used to take us to summer camps during the summer holidays, and it used to be fun. We used to have at least a week and a half um, of summer holiday, and it used to be a lot of fun enjoying the theme parks and zoos. We used to enjoy a lot. We used to have a lot of recreation activities so that when we came back to our regular academic activities, we used to feel fresh. Let's go on to talk about paying bills. What kinds of bills do you have to pay? Well, I've got to pay different types of bills, such as utility bills, such as electricity bills, the grocery bills. At the end of each month, I've got to pay electricity bills, which amounts to approximately $100, and I've got to pay approximately $3,000 as the grocery bills. I wish it could be much lower than that. How do you usually pay your bills, in cash or by another method? Well, in the past, we didn't have the facility of online transactions, so in the past we had to pay in cash. However, in today's world, we are living in the digital age. We've got the facility of online transactions. So these days, I pay bills through online banking. Have you ever forgotten to pay a bill? Well, as far as I can recall, yes, once I'd forgotten to pay a bill of a t-shirt that I had purchased. The moment I got home, I realized that I'd forgotten to pay the bill for the t-shirt, so that I instantly went back to the shopkeeper and paid the bill. And the shopkeeper was awfully glad to see me come back to pay the bill, and he thanked me immensely. Is there anything you could do to make your bills cheaper? Yes, I can do a lot of things. For instance, I think I've realized that I've spent too much money on unnecessary items. So these days I'm thinking of cutting back on my everyday expenses. So I just spend my money on the things that I really need instead of spending my money on items that are quite unnecessary for me. Let's go on to talk about fast food. Are you happy to talk about fast food? Yes. What kinds of fast food have you tried? Even though I usually avoid fast food, but I've given try to some of the fast food, a couple of them, uh, pizza and burger. That's because um, last week one of my friends had a birthday, and I had to eat pizza and burger as part of the birthday meal. Do you ever use a microwave to cook food quickly? Even though I'd love to cook my meal on a traditional stove, I must use microwave. That's because I do have a busy schedule and I can't afford to cook food for myself. Sometimes I do have to buy something from a grocery store and heat it up. So I must use a microwave for that occasion. How popular are fast food restaurants where you live? In the past, people used to eat meals prepared at home. However, these days the number of uh, fast food outlets is increasing in my hometown. That's because more and more people these days choose to eat meals prepared at restaurants rather than meals prepared by themselves at home. So yes, the popularity of fast food restaurants is increasing. When would you go to a fast food restaurant? Well, in a month, I do have one of my friends' birthday, and she is planning to throw a big birthday to a nearby restaurant, which is famous for its wide variety of fast food. Fast food. So I think next month I'll have to go to a fast food restaurant, even though I don't feel like it. Now let's discuss some questions about the expensive items. Which expensive items would many young people in your country like to buy? Well, as far as I'm concerned, the youngsters love to spend their money on technological gadgets because these days they can see these technological gadgets such as the iPhone, the laptop, uh, being advertised virtually everywhere, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook, and they can't resist their temptation to buy these items for themselves. Apart from spending their money on technological gadgets, they also love to spend their money on fashionable clothes because these days every youngster loves to be part of the fashion, the latest model of clothes, latest fashionable clothes. So yes, they would love to spend their money on technological gadgets and fashionable clothes in order to keep pace with the latest trends of technology and fashion. How do the expensive items that younger people want to buy differ from those that older people want to buy? Well, when it comes to the differences between the money that the younger people want to spend and the elderly people want to spend, the younger people tend to spend their money on technological gadgets or say the things that are popular in their days, whereas the elderly people tend to purchase items that come from the past. They'd love to buy a piece of antique furniture. That's because it reminds them of their past memories, those past days. So they tend to buy uh, ancient items, whereas the younger people love to spend their money on uh, technological things, gadgets, as well as some clothes that make them happy for the day. Do you think that people are more likely to buy expensive items for their friends or for themselves? Well, that depends. As long as the expensive items are the ones they've been looking for what to buying for for a long time, people are definitely likely to purchase these items for themselves because nobody likes to spend huge sums of money. buying something for others that they've been trying to buy for a long time. However, sometimes if the person that you're buying the precious gift for is more precious than the gift itself, uh, they love to buy the the things, the expensive items for others, no matter the cost. Now let's go on to talk about rich people. How difficult is it to become very rich in today's world? Well, in today's world, it's not very hard to become immensely rich. That's because we can exploit multiple resources to become rich. For instance, we can use technological platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, and other platforms of social media to advertise our products and services. And also, we can deposit a huge sum of our money in a fixed deposit account. That way, we can multiply our sources of passive income. So we don't always have to depend on our physical work, like our ancestors had to do, our fathers or ancestors had to do in the past. Do you agree that money does not necessarily bring happiness? I'm afraid, but I have to disagree with that point. That's because money plays an extremely crucial role in whatever endeavor that we think to undertake. Because without a large sum of money, we can't, for instance, set up business or embark on higher education or uh, do any sort of activity. So the first step toward becoming happy is to have a good sum of money. In today's materialistic world, we do need cars, buildings. So for that, we do need a large sum of money deposited in our bank account because everybody wants to purchase these materialistic items in today's world. In what ways might rich people use their money to help society? Well, philanthropists can use their money to help people who are in need. For instance, they can donate large sums of their money to feeding hungry people in some famine-stricken parts of the world. They also can use their money to uh, fund education in some parts of the world where children have difficulty in purchasing their own textbooks and or paying fees for their education. So the richest people of the world can use their money for these noble causes.